In December 1992, Flores, a small Indonesian island, seemed like any other peaceful place in the world. Families went about their daily lives, children ran across sandy streets, fishermen set out in small boats, and markets were alive with the vibrant colours and smells of tropical fruits and spices. The island had always been close to the Earth's natural forces. Indonesia sits on the Ring of Fire, a region where tectonic plates constantly collide, producing earthquakes and volcanic activity. For the locals, life often balanced on a delicate line between calm and catastrophe, yet nobody could predict the sudden terror that would arrive that December evening. If you can imagine your hometown suddenly shaking like this, drop a hate in the comments to show you're thinking about it. On December 12, 1992, at exactly 5:29 p.m. local time, the island of Flores was violently shaken by a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. The ground didn't simply tremble, it heaved and cracked, tearing through streets and swallowing everything in its path. Houses collapsed like dominoes, sending plumes of dust into the air, while walls split open and roofs caved in. Villagers screamed and ran in every direction, trying to escape falling debris and unstable buildings. The quake lasted only a few terrifying seconds, but it was long enough to leave devastation across the island. Streets fractured, bridges were damaged, and everyday life was thrown into chaos in an instant. Indonesia sits along the infamous Ring of Fire, a volatile zone where tectonic plates constantly collide, making earthquakes a frequent threat. But this one was different. It was not just the shaking of the earth, it was a prelude to a much greater disaster. The earthquake triggered a chain reaction beneath the ocean floor, setting the stage for a tsunami that would sweep through Flores in a matter of minutes, leaving destruction far beyond the quake itself. The earthquake's force didn't stop at the land. It reached deep beneath the sea, shifting massive sections of the ocean floor. This sudden movement triggered an underwater landslide, displacing enormous volumes of water and generating a powerful tsunami. In just minutes, the ocean, which had long been a source of life and sustenance for the islanders, transformed into a wall of destruction. Waves surged toward the coast faster than cars on a highway, rising higher than 8-story buildings in some places. Entire villages that had stood for generations, their lives intimately tied to the sea, were suddenly exposed to a force far beyond human control, leaving people with only moments to seek higher ground or cling to whatever debris they could find. The tsunami struck without warning. In some coastal regions, waves reached 25 meters, wiping out entire villages. Homes were carried away like toys, roads were submerged, and boats were smashed against cliffs and houses. People ran toward higher ground, but in many cases it wasn't fast enough. Those who survived were often left clinging to debris or climbing trees, holding onto life as everything around them was swept away. The combination of the earthquake and the tsunami created one of the deadliest disasters in Indonesia's history. The aftermath was devastating. Over 2,000 people lost their lives and thousands more were injured. Entire communities vanished within minutes. Families were separated, loved ones lost, and homes destroyed. The survivors faced more than just the physical destruction. Their livelihoods were gone, fishermen had no boats, farmers had no fields, and infrastructure like schools and hospitals were in ruins. The emotional and psychological impact was immeasurable, leaving scars that would last generations. Flores' vulnerability was a combination of geography and geology. The island's fertile volcanic soil rests atop unstable layers, prone to landslides during quakes. Steep coastal cliffs amplified the tsunami's force. In 1992, early warning systems were almost non-existent. There were no sirens, no evacuation plans, and limited communication networks. By the time people realized the tsunami was coming, it was often too late. If this makes you think about how prepared your area is for disasters, type "1" in the comments to pledge awareness. Rescue efforts began immediately, but the island's rugged terrain made access extremely difficult. Many villages were isolated because roads were destroyed. Helicopters and boats became the lifelines for survivors. International aid organizations arrived to help, providing food, water, and medical care. Yet the scale of the disaster was overwhelming. Survivors had to endure days without clean water or shelter. Medical teams worked tirelessly to prevent disease outbreaks. Communities also relied on their own resilience, sharing resources and helping each other survive in the face of unimaginable loss. The 1992 Flores disaster provided important lessons for scientists and disaster management. Researchers studied the tsunami's formation, discovering that underwater landslides from local earthquakes can create waves far more sudden and destructive than distant tsunamis. Unlike the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, which gave hours of warning, Flores tsunami struck almost immediately after the quake. This showed that rapid evacuation plans are critical in areas prone to local tsunamis. Modern monitoring systems now use this data to better predict and warn coastal communities around the world. Despite the devastation, stories of resilience emerged. Some villagers climbed hills and survived, others held onto floating debris until rescuers arrived. Communities worked together to rebuild, showing courage, determination, and solidarity in the face of loss. These stories remind us that even in disasters, the human spirit can shine, teaching valuable lessons about preparation, cooperation, and hope. Mini CTA number 3, if a survivor's story inspired you, hit like to honor their courage. The 1992 Flores disaster became a turning point. It highlighted the urgent need for early warning systems, community education, and infrastructure planning in disaster-prone areas. Coastal villages now have evacuation routes, sirens, and regular drills to save lives. Nature is unpredictable, but preparation can make the difference between life and death. By learning from past disasters, communities around the world can be better equipped to survive future events. The 1992 Flores earthquake and tsunami remain one of Indonesia's deadliest natural disasters. Thousands of lives were lost, and entire communities were forever changed. Yet, the disaster also showed human resilience and the ability to learn from tragedy. Today, Flores is stronger, better prepared, and more aware of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface and in the sea. It stands as both a warning and an inspiration, a reminder that while we cannot control nature, we can control how ready we are to face it. Subscribe for more stories about the incredible power of nature and human resilience. Like the video if you learned something new, and share it to help others understand the importance of preparedness. Let's make sure more people are ready before disaster strikes.